Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Because it's an important day tomorrow, things happening tomorrow. I'd like to make very welcome now to our studio one of our regulars from WREMO. Now, I sort of said, I got myself halfway into this and I thought, gosh, I hope this is right. Wellington Regional Emergency Management Organisation. How did I go, Renee Corlett?
You were very, very
Office.
close, but it's office.
Oh, dear. I do try. Renee, it's lovely to see you. As I implied, tomorrow is an important day. What is happening tomorrow?
It is. Well, it's a day that I'm very excited about. We are doing an earthquake drill. So we are opening up one of our local community emergency hubs for a fun, family, interactive kind of day where people can come along and run through an earthquake scenario and maybe even grab a sausage sizzle and some snacks as well.
Oh, okay. Tell me, what is an emergency management hub?
So Emergency Community Hub is the place where you can go after a major disaster has happened. So it's a place where if the official response is tied up because they're prioritising things like saving lives, yes, you can go there to start solving problems on a really grassroots community level. It's run by the community, so civil defence won't be there, but your friends, your neighbours will be there to help each other solve the kind of problems that you don't need the emergency services for. And it also has a connection to my work, which is at the Emergency Operations Centre, which is kind of part of the official response.
Yes,
so there's a radio in there, so you can radio out information and we can send you information as well.
Okay, so this is sort of a community-led initiative in a way, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole of community response, so you don't need any special training or any special skills because everyone brings their own skills that they use in their life, in their daily life. So we want everyone in the community to be involved in this. And I know some people are bringing their kids tomorrow as well.
Sure, for the sausages, of course. This is really good. So as part of this, do you sort of list out what the resources are within the community? Who can do what? Who's got a digger? Who's got a chainsaw? All that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We call it asset mapping. So we do a little bit of community asset mapping. So there are big posters up where people can write in some of the resources that are available in the community. The other thing is that we give people a chance to kind of set up the hub as it will be, and we assign different roles to people that they can have a try at, like reception or running the community space or going on the radio. And then we have the second group of people who we all sort this out on the day, of course, who are actors who come in with their little slip of paper, who have a problem that the people in the hub need to solve, and then halfway through we swap over. So everyone gets a chance to have a try, and it's really practical way to see the hub up and running before something happens without the stress of a disaster.
Now, obviously, you're not going to tell me what the scenario is, but it could be something like, and I'm saying this, not you, it could be like something like a tsunami. So you've got people assuming, pretending that this has happened or is going to happen, and what do you do in that situation? So it's that kind of thing, is it?
Absolutely, it's that kind of thing, yep. So you come up on the day, you're given a scenario that I'll do a briefing on, and then we divide into our roles of people who are going to be the actors with problems and people who are going to be running the hub. And it's a pretty straightforward scenario, something similar to what you were talking about. So we imagine that the event has happened, it's been a couple of hours or maybe a day afterwards, and now that things have settled down, the community is starting to come together to respond together.
Okay. And I'll call them actors because in fact you are sort of acting out a situation.
Sure.
Do the actors have any lines? I mean, is there any guidebook to what to do, or are they making it up on the fly?
Nope. So the people who have the problems that are coming to the hub are just given a small slip of paper, and that describes what their problem is. It might be something as small as, I've lost a cat. Right. Someone else might have a piece of paper that says, I've found a cat.
Okay.
And so they can work together.
Matchmaker.
The other thing that goes on is that the people who have the hub roles, they have a facilitator with them. So somebody who is really familiar with the role, that's had a little bit of training in it kind of beforehand with me. So a community community member comes in, they're paired up with someone who's experienced with the role, who can kind of give them a briefing about what it is and how to do it. So they don't have to come in completely blind and alone. They can get a little bit of support from that person. That person won't do the role for them, but they'll explain it to them and support them.
And the idea is, if God forbid the real thing does happen, that you've got people who'll have more confidence that they've got some idea what to... I mean, no one can foretell the future or what the situation will be, but at least you've got some miles under your belt, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've done a little bit of this work, so it shouldn't be completely foreign to you.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to do, is that, again, like I was talking about, this whole community-led approach, where if everybody knows a little bit, then before the event, then if something happens, we're in a much better position and a much more resilient position on the Kapiti Coast, where we can start helping each other, and it just takes out that initial confusion of, I don't know what to do, or I don't even know where to start.
That's right.
You can go in and be like, well, actually, I did a practice of this before, I know exactly what to do and where to start.
Who's been involved in organising this?
So we have a little planning committee, and the planning committee they're not trained volunteers or anything, they're just organised to help with the logistics of this particular event. We've got some community members there, we've got a couple of the KCDC councillors, which has been really wonderful, and the Parapara Umu Raumati Community Board has been instrumental in helping us kind of get through some of the logistics on the day.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. As I said, there's a sausage sizzle, there's some snacks. It's family friendly. It's really interactive. So don't think that you're going to turn up to a boring lecture on earthquakes. It is very hands-on.
And it sounds to me as you don't need to have any particular skill. You just need to turn up and be yourself and apply your life experience to this.
Yeah, definitely, because we all have strengths in different ways, and I always kind of say, just because a disaster happens doesn't mean we're going to suddenly lose all of our daily skills as well. The skills that we had before the disaster, we have after the disaster as well. So if you are in a management role at your work, maybe you could look at being the hub facilitator.
Yep.
If you work in the caring professions, maybe you could look at running the community space. So we try to match people up to what their skills are in kind of business as usual times.
Great idea. When and where?
When and where? So it's the 14th of March, which is tomorrow, from 10:30 until noon. And it's at the Kapiti Community Centre, which is the Tenuhanga Community Centre, which is 15 Nahina Street, Parapara Umu.
Right, so that's a beauty. Looking forward to that one on tomorrow. But there's more coming up as well, you were telling me.
Yes, so this is the first of our series of 3 for this financial year. We've got one coming up at Raumati South, so that's on the 4th of April that you'll hear more details about soon, and the other one's happening at the Connect Church, and that's on the 2nd of May, and again you'll get more information about that closer to the time.
Probably here on the radio machine. You'll have to come in and talk.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
I'm hoping
right.
so.
We'll
Thanks for your
sort it
support.
out. We have the contacts here. We know Renee. Lovely to meet and greet you. By the way, Renee, does WREMO have any role at all in the COVID response that is dominating the news and no doubt dominating political discussions at the moment? Are you involved?
Absolutely. That's a really interesting question. So the Ministry of Health is the lead agency on a pandemic response. So that means they take care of kind of the details of it, and then other organisations support their response. So WREMO, under the Civil Defence banner, is a support agency for Ministry of Health. So we're sharing their key messaging, and we're making plans about how we can support our individual councils. So our role is to provide messaging from the Ministry of Health to our councils, and also to look at what our community needs and to support them in that way.
When you came in, I asked you how things were, and you said busy, busy, busy. And I can understand why.
Fairly busy, yes, fairly busy.
Thank you so much for joining us, Renee, doing a great job. And we look forward to having a chat to you sometime just before the 4th of April, I suspect. How about that?
Great. Thanks for your support.
Thank you, Renee. Renee Corlett from WREMO.
106.3 Beach FM.